She gonna put her camera on. We gonna rock and roll. This is our first episode, but not really. But it is. But not really. I'll explain that. I'll explain that in a second, everybody. Yeah. Here we go. All right, you ready? Let's get our clap on. 1, 2, 3. Brothers and sisters, misters, loved ones, family, siblings of the earth, all out there in the world listening or watching or however you are consuming this now, we welcome you to the Way Love Goes podcast. Yeah! Woo!
Yay! Woo!
We don't have a cowbell or nothing, but I guess that wouldn't really be the full vibe of what we got going on. Because we're talking about love, man. This is our first episode. Not really, but it is, but it's not. But it really reason is, just keep it 100. Like, we building a relationship. We talking about relationships here. So let's go ahead and be transparent. All right. I accidentally deleted my video for the first episode. So we're doing it again. But that's what it's all about. It's just, I just want to be fully open and full disclosure to you guys. I don't know, there's people out there to be in the internet doing crazy research and they find out weird stuff. So there, it's out in the open and now we all know. But we are so happy and glad for y'all to join us on this journey. We talking marriage, we talking relationships, we talking everything from when you was in first grade, check the little do you like me box, yes, no, maybe, or going all the way down that aisle to the altar talking about I do and beyond, checks I do and beyond. So yeah, join us. Well, yeah, you've joined us, so thank you. And we should tell you who we are. You probably already know, but just in case, my name is Brother Dondeez, and I'm here with my lovely co-host of the show,
Tierra Monique.
Yes. And we are both coming to you from the podcast world. Tierra's got her podcast, Talk It Up with Tierra Monique, and I got the Urban Prophets podcast. So we out here. We out here in these podcast streets. We live in this podcast life, right? We're not new to this, but we true to this. We are about to jump in with some great conversations about love, relationship life, and all of that. So very glad to have you all here joining in with us. And our first topic today, you know what? You already know it, but we're going to say it in a minute. Right now, we got to do what we got to do first. Before we get down to business, we always got to check in with each other. So we want to ask the question, what is new with you? Tierra Monique, what is new with you?
Well, this weekend I'm going to be celebrating my youngest son's 6th birthday.
Hey.
So that's new, and we're not in, tight restrictions of COVID, so we can actually have a birthday party this year.
Yeah.
So, and he's celebrating his birthday by himself. What I mean by that is that before he celebrated his birthday with his close cousin, whose birthday is a week before his, and so usually we'll have their parties together, but this year we're having a separate birthday party and he is excited. So
he's like, I want my own cake.
When we're done with this, I gotta go and run and put the cake order in and get the last minute things before Sunday, and so that's what's new with me.
I feel you. So we're gonna get right down to business quickly. What's new with me is there's not really much new. I'm just kind of grinding and grooving and doing things. I am having like what do they call that for pastors? It's not a graduation because I already graduated, but it's like now we done laid the special hands on you. They call it ordination, and so that's gonna be coming up in a week. And just this week was kind of getting all the prep and stuff ready for that because it's gonna be next Saturday, and so that's what's new with me. And now we're about to jump into this episode, which y'all already know the topic, but we'll say it just for documentation purposes. Today, we are speaking about listening with the heart. And we're going to talk about what that means, y'all. But without further ado, let's get into this topic. Sister Tierra Monique is going to lead us through an understanding of listening with the heart. Oh, yes, it's going to be great.
All right, so today we're going to be talking. He just handed it off to me, like, your turn.
Yeah, just.
All right, so
the Magic Johnson layup, just no look.
Right.
Yeah. Magic Johnson assist, yeah.
So today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about listening with your heart. So we are doing a communication series. So next week we'll have another topic on communication. And like Dee said, that we are based off of marriage and relationships. And so he's been married for how many years? 16 years. He's a veteran in these streets, in the marriage streets.
That's right. We got the kids. We're like adults in the double digits ages past the 2. So we up in here.
Yeah. So I was married before, and now I'm divorced, and so I'm dating again. And so we both have experience in the relationship field. And the most important thing when it comes to relationships is learning how to communicate with each other. And in order to communicate with each other, we have to be able to listen to one another. So that's why today's topic is titled Listen with the Heart, because you can listen with your mind, but if you don't listen with your heart, you won't be able to get to the root of whatever your disagreement is. And that's just to get understanding of it. So first, there's a difference. So if you're listening with logic, meaning there's a black and white. So logic is all about black and white. There's no gray in the middle. It's just facts. So I'm only listening with facts. So I'm just waiting for you to finish so I can point out the facts of what you did and did not say.
Dang, I feel like I've been in that world. I've been there.
Yeah. So it's just facts only. It's facts only. You're not dealing with the heart. You're not dealing with empathy. You're not trying to listen to understand. You're only listening for facts. And if you don't point out the facts, I'm gonna tell you the facts. So, when it comes to listening with your heart, there's the gray. It's all gray. There's no black and white. It's gray because there is room. Gray. It's all gray.
Yikes.
No black and white. It's all gray. No facts. I mean, the facts are there, but they don't lead. They don't lead the conversation.
No, I'm joking. Yeah.
The facts are there, but they just don't lead. They don't lead the conversation. So, if I'm listening with my heart, then I'm giving room for improvement. I'm giving room for me to change. I'm giving room for the other person to change. And I'm allowing that person to see my side. And I'm open-minded to hear what they have to say as well. So that is where we now listen with... What we don't want to do is listen with the intent to win.
Well, let me say one thing about the logic too.
Okay, go ahead.
That is really like it sounds really wonderful, but it's real hard to do. Because when somebody, especially if somebody has the facts, like they just like, dude, when they say this, I'm gonna knock it down with that. I'm knock it down with that. Because everybody kind of looks at things from their perspective, and we probably both think that we got the facts. So it's really that's an interesting thing to think about. The whole thing being great because it's nuanced and all of that. But yeah, I just wanted to add that, man. That's hard. That's hard.
Oh no, that is hard to do. And I say that, and if you find yourself having a hard time with the facts and not being empathetic, then just you have to remember that you're a human, and so humans, it takes a long time to change a habit. And so even the bad habits and even good habits. So if we're humans, and if we keep doing something over and over again, then it'll become second nature to us. So when you start off trying to communicate effectively and successfully in your relationships, just know that it's not an overnight thing. It's not, okay, I'm gonna try and it didn't work this time, so just toss in the towel, throw it up, throw your hands up and say forget it. That's not how it works. It's an everyday thing. It's I gotta do this. Sometimes it's a moment by moment thing, depending on how tense the situation is.
Oh yes.
You might have to take it second by second or text by text.
Text by text. Lord have mercy. And make that a last call. That's the last straw. Do not text, because you ain't got the nuance. You ain't got the non-verbals. Good Lord. That's going to be tough.
Yes. Text by text. So
breath by breath.
We have to. Yes, breath by breath. I mean, yeah, and I'm going to get into that later because I wrote down some good stuff that I came up with when I was watching a video.
Yes,
so, but yeah, you just have to take a step back and just give yourself grace and give yourself room to improve in this area. Mm-hmm. So the next thing is listening with the intent to win. So this is a negative. If you're listening with the intent to win, then you're not listening with the intent to understand, which is the base of all communication. So if the goal is to win at the relationship, and not make, the goal is to win at the relationship and not make the other person feel like they're the loser in the relationship. Ooh. So if I'm always trying to prove my point, well, I'm right, you're wrong, this is my point, I'm just gonna let you know, you did this and you did that and you didn't cross this T and you didn't dot this I, but I did and you didn't, so what's wrong with you? Am I making that person feel good about themselves?
No, ma'am.
Or am I making that person feel bad about themselves? And then if I'm making them feel inferior or less than, then they're not going to come to the relationship as their best selves. They're going to think that they can never measure up to what you want them to do based off of what you did. Ooh. So we don't want to listen with the intent to win. We want to listen with the intent to win in the relationship, not listen with the intent to win in the argument.
Y'all need it. Yeah. You need to tweak that out.
Yeah.
Win in the relationship.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we're a team, and we're in this together. And it's only two of us in a relationship. Hopefully, there's only two of y'all in a relationship. If there's more than two,
in another episode,
that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother thing, y'all. There's
that's
some
a whole
craziness in the streets. But
that's a whole nother thing.
Right now, yes.
Right now, we're talking about two people.
Two become one.
If you want to listen to win, then you want to remember that we're a team. And that we're in this for the long haul. And we're not here to play games. We're all too grown to play games. I know I'm 39. I'm looking at 40 in less than 30 days. So I don't have time.
I'm already in there.
And you're already there. And
that's right. I got your seat ready for you. Right. Meetings are on Thursday. Bring the potato salad.
I'll bring the potato salad.
We don't need no raisins.
No raisins. No raisins. Potatoes.
Sorry, we're gonna stay focused, people. We're gonna stay focused. I'm sorry.
No raisins.
We're grown.
I'm losing my ear here.
We're grown.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but we're grown and we're adults, and we have so many things going on in our lives that we don't have time to play games when it comes to our relationships. Whether you are married or whether you are in a committed relationship and you're looking towards marriage. And so when we sit down with each other and we say, hey, let's talk, or when we're on the phone with each other, don't come to the conversation ready to prove your point and ready for you to say I was right and you were wrong. Come to the conversation ready to say, I want to understand where you came from, even though I may not agree with what you're saying or what you did. I want to understand from your perspective why you did this. Do you have anything for that, Dean?
You know what? This is this is tricky too, because I remember early on with my wife. The interesting thing is, okay, so my wife is Korean, and you know when you add into their cultures and how cultures communicate.
Right.
That is another layer to add on. And so you got, because you've got what that person as a culture does, and
right.
how that person is as an individual. So exactly. Everybody's different, and then they've got that second layer. And so like me, I'm a person where I want to know from all the angles. And so it's almost like when I come into these conversations sometimes, my wife used to hate this. She would hate this. I would start with like a question that seems like it ain't got nothing to do with what we know we're both there to talk about. And she'd be like, this dude with these lawyer questions, man, just get to what you're trying to say. Because I'll sometimes want to be like, okay, I want to understand where you're coming from. I was like, so when XYZ happened over here, why did you pick the red ball instead of the yellow one? And she's like, why are we talking about this ball? You know you didn't care about the ball. Just get to the So it's good to do that, and it's good to add in that layer of, all right, but what kind of person do you have? Do they, how do you accomplish that goal of understanding the person without annoying them in the process? Because my wife should be like, dude, can we just get to what you want to talk about? Like, stop with all the third degree weird angles that will help you arrive after you've been going around the bush and through the mountain and up the hill. Let's just get to it. You know what I'm saying? Stop asking me all the questions. Just ask me the question that you really want to ask. So yeah, it's you're right. It's a balance. It's a balance of navigating those things. But yeah, that goal is understanding. So if you can get to that the best way you can, that's the way you want to go. I'm fully in support of that. Right.
That's good. That's some good stuff. Especially, and I'm glad you brought up that about cultures, because we do come from different backgrounds. Whether you come from a different ethnic background or you come from a different the way you grew up. We all grew up and we all learn how to navigate life through our parents or our life experiences that we've been through. So if I am used to seeing my family yell to communicate, then I'm going to come to the table thinking that, okay, this is how you're supposed to talk. I'm supposed to talk with my hands. I'm supposed to yell, and you're going to understand me, when that wasn't really good talking. They were just yelling at each other. Nobody was really understanding one another. Or if you come from a family that's quiet and y'all actually sit down, y'all say, okay, Tammy, this is what happened. And, you're used to having an actual calm conversation, then you're not going to know how to respond or react when someone comes at you waving their finger at you.
Oh, you're going to just like ball up into the corner and just be like, why do you hate me?
Right.
What did I ever do to you?
Right. And it makes someone's self-esteem go low. It can, because I feel like, well then what happened? Like, what did I do? And you're always second guessing, what did I do to make you react this way? Or how come you don't understand me? How come you can't hear me? And most of the time we can't hear each other because we're too busy thinking about what we want to say, how we want to say it, and how we can prove our point and how we can win this argument. So if I want to understand, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no! I was just saying that reminds me. I remember I used to work with my uncle laying carpet, which sounds easy, but that is some daggone hard work. And and he was like a dude that he was just real straightforward, and he would just say it. And his natural tone when he's like in work mode is like very gruff and like yelling-ish. And I would always be yelling back with him, and I thought we were arguing. But then one time my aunt came with us, and she heard us talking, and she was like, hey, why are you guys talking to each other like that? Like, stop arguing.
Right,
and then he says to her, we're not arguing, this is just how we talk. And when he said that was the moment that I realized, oh, he's actually just talking. We're not fighting. So I was like, yeah, this is just how we talk. But I actually had just learned it in that moment when he said it. And I was like, oh, interesting. I thought I was not doing a good job at this job. And he just happens to talk like that. He wasn't mad. He wasn't anything. So yeah, this communication styles is a discovery process in your relationship, you know.
It is. It really is. It really is. When we know how to communicate well with each other, it can eliminate so many things. It can eliminate so many. We're gonna get to this next time, but so many assumptions and overthinking and miscommunication and all that stuff.
Yes.
So yes. So our next point is, if you listen with your heart, you listen with God's ears. God's heart, God sees us differently than we see each other. So if we listen with our heart, it's not just you're listening to your actual, blood pumping heart, okay? When you listen with the heart, from a faith-based standpoint, when you listen with the heart of God, then it allows you to see the other person with the eyes of God. So if I'm listening with the heart of God, I'm not automatically thinking that you're against me, you're my enemy, because we love each other. We're here for a reason. I fell in love with you for a reason. You fell in love with me for a reason. And so if I come to it with the heart of God, the first thing I want to do is come to the table with forgiveness. And so I'm going to come to the table with forgiving you before we even have the conversation. Because if I'm not forgiving you, if I'm already like, oh, I can't stand when they do this and I can't stand when they do that and I can't wait to give them a piece of my mind, you're in attack mode. And then when you're coming in attack mode, that person's going to be defensive. They're not going to hear anything that you say because they're ready to defend themselves against you attacking them. And so if you change your perspective and say, okay, this person is a human just like I am. This person makes mistakes just like I am. I'm going to go ahead and forgive them before they even ask for forgiveness. I'm going to forgive them before they even say anything or try to give you to understand. Because if I'm listening with the heart of God, then I'm forgiving them first before they ask for forgiveness. God forgives us all day long, but he still wants us to come and ask him for forgiveness. So yes, even though that person may not even ever say, please forgive me, still forgive them, because it just releases you from being so tight. And I had an analogy about that. And I was like, forgiveness, is the oil that loosens that tight knot.
Oh.
And then so when I'm tight like this, so you see my hands are so tight. And nothing can get through my hands. And this is the argument. This is the disagreement. My hands represent the argument, the disagreement, the tension that's going on right now between my loved one, my spouse and I, my significant other, my boo, my babe, my honey. Okay? Then if I come into the conversation and I say, you know what, I'm going to forgive you before you even ask me to forgive you. I'm going to forgive you. I don't even have to tell you, but it's good to go ahead and tell them. I'm going to forgive you before we even talk. Then that forgiveness, now it loosens. It loosens the knot. And it allows, now that it's loose, it allows understanding to be able to flow through those crevices so that you can now hear the other person. Because when you have a tight knot, sometimes if it's been tight for so long, those conversations that you keep putting off over and over again and you never get to them, they get so tight. They were loose at first, but but more and more that you put them off, the more resentment comes. Then you holding grudges. Then you're creating this fantasy, this negative, the fantasy of them, and then the tension between you get tight, and that conversation is so tight that you can't hear each other. So like a tight knot, when it's been knotted up, a string that's been knotted up for so long, sometimes you gotta add a little water, or if it's like a metal knot, you gotta add a little oil to loosen it up. And that's how it is with our conversations. We have to pour some of that forgiveness on our conversations to loosen us up, loosen our heart up, loosen our mind up, so that we can receive them in a way of wanting to understand them,
right,
and not wanting to attack them.
Now, I have to... Okay, so something came to my mind. I wish it didn't come to my mind when we were talking about the God part, but it did. When you're talking about the oil and getting in there and making it loose and ready, I can analogize that to another way in which we are intimate. We grown-ups.
Right.
We talk about relationships, right? When you about to really get intimate, like you know the thing, doing the thing, doing the thing, pencil thing. You want to lubricate. You want the oil. You know what I'm saying? Like you want the thing that's gonna make that make you flow. You don't want to be. You're not trying to have like tough, dry, difficulty, right? You want that thing to flow. Yeah, we adults. You know, as we say,
we're adults. Yes, we are.
We're coming into the 40. So think of this as conversational coitus, if you will. You understands me, my people.
Yeah.
You want to get intimate, and just as that brings pleasure, possibly when you lubricate the situation, that may actually bring you closer, and you might actually have more pleasure in this conversation, and then it takes you to new levels. You feel me? See, we gotta put y'all into the game, right? We'll be thinking about communication as your relations time. That builds up. That's actually the first step. That's the first part that gets you there. So
yeah,
a good conversation could be foreplay. You feel me?
And you know what? That is absolutely right, because what that song say, break up to make up, that's all we do.
Yes, yeah.
You don't want to be in that situation when y'all breaking up, y'all making up all you two, but they always say, I've always heard this from all of my aunts and uncles, you know, when you listen to the conversation, and they will always say, you know, it's always good to make up. And we grown, so the sex is always good after we make up. So the communication, especially women, if I feel like you heard me, if I feel like you heard me, and that even though you may not have totally agreed with how I did something, but at least you say, you know what, baby, I wish you would have did it another way, but I understand what you're saying. It's like, whew. You know, the Niagara Falls is flowing.
Hey, you feel? Keep it real with them.
The Niagara Falls is flowing, and I am, and you know what? When the kids go to bed, I'm gonna make sure I'm ready, because I'm gonna show you my appreciation, which is what in a marriage. I mean, you know, this, you know, I don't know who's listening. I know you. In a marriage world, you know, that's what's supposed to bring us together. Now, some may say, you know, you don't have to, but, you know, that it is what it is. Whatever you feel.
We'll get to that.
Okay, that's between you and your God. But sex does bring us together in a bondful way. So communication can be the foreplay, especially in a man. I say a man too, because if you're a nagging wife, it's in the Bible. If you're a nagging wife is like a dripping faucet.
Good Lord. Right.
That is the most annoying sound.
That ain't the drip you want, because that's a tease. That's not the real drip.
That's not the drip you want.
That ain't the drip you want.
Oh gosh, it's not. It's not.
Right.
And so
we put
you don't want
game
to
today. Y'all didn't know you was gonna get this. You thought you could listen to this with your kids, but you can't.
No, leave those kids on Sesame Street.
Leave them on Sesame Street.
Yeah, leave them on Sesame
Street. Real street, straight street.
Real street, straight street. Yeah. You don't want to hear that nagging wife all the time. And if she comes to you and she says, you know, honey, I heard you. I'm sorry. I mean, please forgive me, whatever. Then he's ready to do whatever you want him to do.
Let me get the oils. Let me get the oils. Let me get the aromatherapy candles.
Let me lay some hands on you.
Let me set up the space. Let me lay out the blankets and
yeah. Let me lay some hands on you here. You know.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So. So yes, that he is absolutely right. D is absolutely right. You know, that can be the foreplay. to anything. And so it is better to make up instead of having. Nobody wants to walk around in a tense environment, you know. So you want to forgive. You want to listen with the heart of God. And I had wrote some things down. Did you have anything else to say with that?
No, that was. I feel like I've shared too much, but it was needed. I read an article called "What It Means to Listen with the Ear of Your Heart," and they basically said some of the same things that we already talked about, which is but I want to go into some of the points that I got from that article. The article was based on, it came out in 2020. It was based on how, because the pandemic happened and so many people were stuck at home, and married couples and people in relationships had to face each other. And so they wanted to help people figure out how to communicate well when they're in the house together. And I know we're all moving about more now than we were before, but I think these points are very important. So in order to communicate with each other, this is what they said. They say schedule a time. So to have a successful communication and to listen, with the ear of your heart, is to schedule time to talk to each other, which is critical. Schedule time, make sure the kids are all put away, whatever you got to do, schedule time. Wow, yeah, that's interesting.
The other thing is because if you schedule a time, then you're more prone to stick with that time than if you just say, okay, we'll talk later.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
If you just say, okay, we'll talk later, then no. But if you say, hey, at 3:30 I'm free, 5 o'clock I'm free, 12 o'clock I'm free, then that person knows you're free. Hopefully they can make time for you at that same time, and then you can come together and talk. The other thing was to ask the right questions. Ask them how they're doing, have they had time to sit, how is their mental state? Because of the pandemic, and even though we may not be in the as thick as it was last year, we're still in it. Most of our kids aren't vaccinated. Most of the people in the country aren't vaccinated. So we're still living with some kind of anxiety. So it is important to ask your mate, how is their mental health? Because if I'm not right upstairs in my head, then how can I effectively be present in the relationship? So I thought that was good. The other thing was to give full attention. So we scheduled the time. We're sitting down, we're talking, and it said to give full attention. And so what I took from that was when you give full attention to someone, you turn off the phones. You make sure you put them kids in front of a TV or make sure they're asleep or while they're at school. Because when you do that and you give them full attention, you're telling the person that you matter.
Yeah.
None of that other stuff matters, because in true honesty, yes, y'all have kids and the kids matter too. But when you come together, y'all are first together. Your spouse is first. Your significant other is first, not the kids. Y'all created the kids. The kids are going to be there, because once those kids leave the house, and it's just going to be just two of y'all sitting in that house, and y'all don't even know how to talk to each other.
Mercy.
So if you practice now while the kids are still there, then you'll know we know how to be amongst each other without the kids. We know how to fill our day with each other without the kids. So you tell that person you matter when you turn off the phones, when you put the kids away. You tell that person that they are important by giving them full attention, and you're showing that person that they how much they value to you, how much they mean to you, and so that they're valuable in the relationship. So that's what I took away from that. And then some other things that I wrote down, excuse me, that I thought was important was you have it. So with that, I wrote some other points. So how to engage. So yes, we're going to schedule the time. We're going to ask the right questions. And we're going to give full attention. But how do we engage each other once we sit down and talk? Okay, so this is what I wrote down. So you're going to sit face to face. You're going to turn everything off. And this is what came to my head. Okay, and this is what I'm going to do when I get my boo, my bae, my honey. And I hope you can do this too. So in order to engage,
I'm going to try it. I'm going to report back.
Okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to sit down in front of each other. You're going to get two chairs. or sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce, and you're going to sit in front of each other. Then before you even touch each other or say anything to each other, you're going to close your eyes, you're going to take a deep breath, and you're going to count back from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you're going to open your eyes, you're going to look at each other, and just say hi, and smile. And I think by doing that, by taking that deep breath, by counting back from 10, you're allowing the day to go away. You're allowing all the stuff that was going on in your head, because we have so many things going on in our lives. You're allowing all of that to go away. And you're allowing yourself to refocus on your spouse and your mate when you open your eyes. Because when I open my eyes, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not looking at my kids. I'm not looking at the TV. I'm not looking at what I got to do next. I'm looking at my mate. I'm looking at the person who I said I do to. I'm looking at the person who I say I love, who I say I want to be in this committed relationship with, and I'm focusing on them. And that's how you engage. And then once you do that, then hold hands. Sit there, hold hands, and say, hi, how are you doing? How was your day? What's your mental state? I mean, you're not going to say it like that. It sounds very
clinical.
It sounds very
all right. Mental state good. Next.
That's very clinical. But yeah, you're going to say, how are you feeling? What's going on in your head? I know that you had a big meeting today. I know you had a big presentation today. I know you had to do this. How are you feeling now? Or anything. I lost my earbud, D. Hold on.
She's recovering, everybody. The information was so good, it excited all her equipment. The Holy Ghost is moving over there.
I know it, right? So yes, I think if we start with that, those little points, and you commit to them, then I think it will open up so many doors, if you will, to new ways of communicating with each other. And then being able to tell the person how you feel without attacking them. Having a conversation without just facts. Having the conversation without trying to win. And forgiving that person, and knowing at the end of the day that what you two do together now will basically affect how you two live the rest of your life. So that, and I didn't say this earlier, but I wrote this down. Remember that your boo, your bae, your honey, they're not your employee. They're not your customer, and they are not your coworker. Because sometimes we come home or we close the computer down from our Zoom day, and then we talk to our mate as if they're our coworker, or they're our customer at our business, or they're our employee at our job, and they're not. You have to talk to them with respect, and you have to appreciate them, and they're your spouse, they're your team player, they're your partner for life, and you have to see them as such and not as something else. So there you go.
Dude, hey, dropping the gems on us.
Woo!
And we need everybody. We need you to do that with your partners, and then we need you to email us all the great things that happen. That's going to be at thewaylovegoespod at gmail.com. Come on and bring them testimonials on in, so we can share them on air. You feel me?
Yes, so I'm pretty sure we haven't done those things. We haven't sat with each other and just looked at each other. We haven't dealt with things that we need to deal with. And that's why I said there's so many of us. We're so wound up. We're so tight. And yes, sex does help us loosen it up. But if we don't get to the root of the issue, then sex is only going to be the mask.
Right.
That's
and,
it might
and it might be trash. You don't want trash. You want quality.
Yes.
You want quality, folks.
You want quality
you need that
reconnection. You want quality reconnection.
Right, right. You want quality in all of your connections, right?
Yes.
Physical, conversational, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we ready to go to the scenarios?
Yep. Let's go to the scenario.
Oh shoot. Okay. What's the scenario? Today we're gonna do something a little bit interesting. All right. We have a little dialogue that we're gonna go through. And
yes.
Then we're gonna dig a little deeper. But it's not gonna take a long time. But it's gonna be good. All right. So let me give you the setting for this dialogue we're gonna read through. All right. Today's couple. It's a married couple, Donnie and Simone. And Donnie and Simone had a little argument yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
And so it's the next day. And Simone is in the dining room. Donnie comes up and he wants to talk. And so here's the little convo that ensues with Donnie and Simone. Here we go, y'all. Hey, can we talk for a second?
What's up?
I don't like how you talked to me yesterday.
Well, I don't like that you didn't clean up.
I was going to, but I just finished updating my resume so that I could send it out. There were these 2 companies that were interested in interviews, and the deadline was yesterday, so I did that. Then I sat down for a second to try to catch my breath, and I guess I dozed off.
Well, that still doesn't change the fact that you didn't clean up.
I was tired, Simone. I was gonna get to it.
Yeah, well, you didn't.
Wow.
Wow, what?
Wow, what? Nothing. You know what? Enjoy your magazine. I'll be upstairs.
I will.
And I'm stumping up the stairs. That's me, Donnie, stumping up the stairs now. So that's the conversation. Quick reflection. What are your thoughts just off of that conversation? What are you thinking? What pops in your mind as like, ooh, these people? Or are you like, yep, that's right, girl. Enjoy that magazine.
No. So what happened was she did not express how she was really feeling. And she wanted him to recognize how she felt without saying it.
Mercy.
So he felt it because he said, hey, can we talk for a second? He knew it because can we talk?
Can we talk? Tevin Campbell, who you know about.
For a minute, right.
Girl, all right, anyway. Mm-hmm.
All right.
No,
So,
back focus, we focus. Yeah.
Right.
He wanted to talk.
He wanted to talk. So whenever you hear someone say, can we talk? You already know, they need to talk to you about something. Either something that they want to address that you did, or they want to apologize for what they did, or it's something. But because she answered him with an attitude, he responded with, I don't like how you talked to me yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so he could have came to her and say, hey, can we talk for a second? I'm sorry. I know I was supposed to clean. See, if you come to it already, because he knows why she talked to him. You already know why she talked to you wrong. Okay, you got caught up with your resume. That's fine. But you know that she asked you to do something because she couldn't do it and you didn't do it. So you already know. So if you just come to the conversation, hey, can we talk? Hey, look, I'm sorry. I know I was supposed to help you out yesterday and I got caught up with the resume. Can you forgive me? That would have eliminated all of the middle stuff. It wouldn't have been like, I don't like how you didn't. It wouldn't have been like how you talked to me, blah blah. Because then with the apology, he didn't even have to say I don't like how you talk to me, because she already know that she talked to you wrong. She already knows she did something wrong. Y'all both know y'all did something wrong. So him coming up to her and saying, "Hey, can we talk for a second? I was wrong, blah blah," and then she would go, "You know what? It's okay, and I'm sorry for how I talked to you." She's going to automatically respond with the apology for what she did because you initiated the apology. Now, is that how it always happens? No. Most of the time it happens just the way we said it. Can I talk to you? I don't like how you talk to me. Well, you didn't do this, and that's why. And we should not respond or react to one another based off what someone else did. It shouldn't be a tick for tat. Well, if you did this, well, I'm going to do this. Because that's just, now you're living in Pettyville.
Yeah.
And nobody got time for that. It's just, nah. So, that's how I feel about that.
Now, before I say anything, I want to actually...
Excuse me.
I'm gonna give you some more insight into the situation.
Okay. My box.
And this, I'm gonna actually tell you.
Okay.
Because somebody had been in Simone and Donnie's house, and they had recorded the argument yesterday. So I want to read you the transcript because I got the transcript.
You got the transcript.
Let me tell you what it went. Let me tell you how it went.
Okay. All right.
So as we already know, Donnie was asleep on the couch. Mm-hmm. Simone come in, and this is what happened. Why haven't you cleaned up the house? Donnie takes a deep breath, rubs his eyes, yawns. Seriously, she continued. Before I left the house, I asked you to do one thing, and you couldn't even do that? Why do you have to be so lazy? I feel like I do everything. Then here's what Donnie said. He said, really? Everything? So you put the gas in the car. You picked up Chipotle last night. You called the repairman for the... I'm not talking about that. She interrupts. I'm talking about that. Well, I'm talking about doing the one thing that I asked you to do. Why can't you just do that, Donnie? Seriously? I work all day. You are at home all day. You couldn't do this one thing? Not right now. Look, I had to get some stuff taken care of, all right? I was working on... You know what? I don't even want to hear that, she says. I'm just going to get dinner started. Can you just clean up in here? Then Donnie takes a deep breath and he says, yeah. And that was their argument the night before. What do you think about that?
They still wrong.
Yeah. Well, I don't see no oil.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. At the end of the day, y'all both living in the house.
Wow.
The house gonna be dirty. Y'all both living in the house. And is it I think more or less sometimes when it comes to women, it's not about the fact that you didn't help clean up. It's the fact that you didn't see me or value me enough to help me clean up. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember the movie The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. And he says, "Is there anything you need?" And she says, "Yes, I need 12 lemons." She specifically said, she didn't say I need a bag of lemons. She said, I need 12 lemons. Okay, so obviously that's important. But no, not in his head. He went to the store, he came back, he brought back like 3 lemons. And she was like, he was like, baby, he said, you get my lemons? He said, yeah, whatever baby wants, baby gets. She said, well, baby wanted 12 lemons. And he was like, but baby said she wanted baby said she wanted lemons. She said, but yeah, but I specifically asked for 12 lemons. 12. And he didn't see it as a big idea. And she said, well, because I need to make she was trying to make what is it called? A centerpiece for the table because they were having a dinner with guests coming over. And she wanted to, put 12 lemons in this centerpiece in a table. And it wasn't going to work with just 3 lemons. But he didn't get it. He was like, well, look, at least I did it. That's all. He's like, look, can you at least give me credit that I did it? And I know a lot of men are like, yeah, can you appreciate that I did it? It's like, yes, you did do it, but you didn't do what I asked you to do. And so, And so that's like with Simone. It's like, you didn't clean up. I asked you to clean up. You didn't do it. Yes, you were doing other things, but you didn't do it actually. And I think sometimes we want our spouses to value us in the same way they value their job. Because if you would go to work and your boss says, I need this, that, and the third before 5 o'clock, what are you going to do? You're going to make sure you have it done before 5 o'clock because you want to keep your job.
Right.
You don't want to get fired. You don't want to, get written up. You don't want to get that promotion passed over you because you want to please your boss. And that's the same way as in relationships. We want to please each other. I heard somebody say this, and I can't remember who it was, and they said, in relationships, we should always be in competition of pleasing each other, of showing each other up on how much we love each other. And when we don't do that, and we make anything outside the house more important than what's in the house, then it can cause friction and it can cause problems. And then we can't hear each other because we're holding grudges and resentment, and that's where bad communication comes in.
Now, I agree with you.
Okay.
You said a lot about Donnie.
I didn't say nothing about Simone.
What's your thoughts on Simone? What's your thoughts on Simone? Or is she in the right? Is there nothing she could adjust? What do you think? What do you think on her side?
No, I think they both are in the wrong. I think they're both in the wrong because it takes two. It takes two to communicate. So I think they're both in the wrong. Did she know that he had something to do? Yes. Then why ask him to do something? That's my thing. If you know that he has something to do, why ask him to do something extra? If I know that my spouse has a paper, he's in school and he has a paper to do, I'm not going to put more work on him when I'm able to do it.
I guess that's part of the let's be a team, let's work together. Like when you talk about when I listened to this, I thought of two things. One, you know how we were talking about logic, and there's the facts. Like, yes, you asked this person to do something and they did not do it. Right. Then the gray starts to come in with the why didn't they do it? Right. Were they being disrespectful? Were they, I mean, this brother, he definitely could have come, a little better with his communication. Like, exactly. Like you said, hey, let's start with hey, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. The second thing is, okay, maybe he's been, we don't even know. Has he been laid off of work? Maybe he got fired and that's why he's home all day. We don't even know, and so maybe it was really important for him and for their whole family for him to get these resumes in, and he wanted to do it, and maybe he wasn't even planning on spending all day on it, but it took that because the deadline was the next day, so it wasn't an option. There's all kinds of other stuff to think about. So it's like, man, okay, I understand you had to do that, and maybe you were tired from, I know for me, sometimes if I have to work on something that takes a lot of intricacy and like thought, I'll be kind of exhausted a little bit after that. And especially if it's like working on a computer stuff, and if you're tired, you be like, all right, man, let me just take a quick break. And then that happened, man. I'll be like, yeah, I'm about to hit them dishes. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and it's like, oh, dang, what time is it? Oh man, it's time to get. I didn't slept all night because I thought I was gonna wake up and get back to it, or I'll be asleep and then my wife will what wakes me up is literally like my wife coming back in the door from like her class or whatever, and I'm like, oh dang, I was trying to have that done, but I don't have it done, and I'm caught. What am I gonna do? Right. Sometimes people they get caught up where their plans are different than they did. So yeah, I agree with you, man. That this conversation to me seemed like a real good time for those two to exercise the, try to listen with the heart and more than logic. And even the second conversation kind of seemed like one of those things where it's like, okay, can I forgive first? Like, Donnie, could you have already resolved in your mind that you were going to forgive Simone for how she talked to you, because you can see her frustration, and then having processed that, now you come and talk to her, so you're not coming at her like all hard, like, yo, you need to check your tone when you're talking to me. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't that harsh, but it's like if you'd follow that kind of advice, then maybe, like you said, it would have been a different conversation. I've experienced that. When I say I'm sorry, it's much easier for my wife to say she's sorry about something, and vice versa.
Right. Right. It is. And because in that scenario, if the woman is coming home and she's seeing that the house isn't clean, then her first thing in her mind is, I hope he don't think I'm about to clean this house.
Mercy. I know. You know that's in there. You know that's in there.
So it's like, okay, if he's sorry, but he's still going to clean up, then okay. But if he's sorry, like, well, you can still clean up. Nah.
Nah, son.
Nah.
That's still your job. I still ask you to do it.
At
least
he
didn't fight her when she was like, okay, clean it up now. He wasn't like, nah, you here now.
Right. Yeah. So.
Well, man, this is good. This is good combos, man. I like these. You got some tips. And, you got some tips.
I do have some tips. Hold on, my screen is acting weird here. But yeah, I do have some tips. Don't
be hating on us. Don't be hating on us.
I know these laptops and these one clicks. No, but that scenario though, also if you want to, listeners, viewers, if you want to find out how more ways to communicate effectively, I highly suggest that you go on YouTube and you look up Own Your Behaviors, Master Your Communication, and Determine Your Success by Louise Evans. It's a TEDx, or you can just type in Louise Evans TEDx. Louise is Louise, Louise Evans TEDx on YouTube. And it's so good because just what Dee was talking about as far as that scenario is the same thing that she went through as far as, when someone reacts or does something, how we go through these five ways of resolution of what's happening based on how to respond. So that was really, really good. It's only 18 minutes, 31 seconds.
Y'all can listen to a TED Talk.
You can listen to that. I mean, it's TED less than an episode.
Those are, exactly. I love TED Talks. Those are like my favorite things.
They're really good. They're really, really good. Really good. And it's people who know what they're talking about. They just pull somebody off the street. It's people who actually are in that field and they know what they're talking about. But my tips are, so in that Louise Evans TEDx, she had mentioned a quote by, I'm about to say Tina Marie. Yeah. Not Tina Marie. I'm sorry. Mother Teresa.
Oh shoot! Yeah, that's quite.
I know, right? Yeah. So there was a quote that she touched on, and it said, "The more we judge people, the less time we have to love them." Ooh. And so when she said that, what came to my head, like another spin on that, when it comes to relationship and communication, is the more time we spend trying to prove each other wrong, the less time we have to recognize how right we are together. Ooh. So that's my quote. I came up with that. Yeah. Okay.
You better tweet it before somebody else do.
I know, right? I'm gonna say it again. The more time we spend trying to prove each other wrong, the less time we have to recognize how right we are together. So if I'm trying to prove you wrong all the time, I can start thinking, maybe I shouldn't be in this relationship.
Mercy.
Maybe I shouldn't be in this marriage.
Mercy.
Because if I always have to keep trying to have this argument, try to prove you wrong, and so I can be right, you're gonna think, you know what, so and so at work never does this with me. I never had this problem with anyone else.
Oh, Lord.
And so you may be thinking that it's time to exit the relationship, when in actuality, if I take a step back and stop trying to prove that person wrong, and remember why we're so right to be together, so we can fix the problem and we can listen to understand instead of listening to reply, then it just alleviates all of that toxicity in the relationship, in the marriage, and it can keep y'all together, and y'all bond can grow stronger. And then my quote from earlier when I said, when we listen with the heart of God, we can see each other through the eyes of God. So when you listen with the heart of God, which first starts off with forgiveness, forgive me my tongue tie. It starts off with forgiveness first. Then we can see each other the way God sees us, which is in love. God sees us with love first. He doesn't see us for our faults and our flaws and what we didn't do and what we should have did. He sees us for who we are. And that's that.
Amen.
That's that, Jack.
I got a scripture too to add to that.
Okay, go ahead.
And this is James 1 verse 22. It says, "Don't merely listen to the word and so deceive yourself. Do what it says." So we don't call ourselves the Bible, but we getting information from very good, reliable sources. And so we hope that what you hear today, all these dope quotes, all these jewels that Tierra Monique is dropping in your basket, that you don't just look at it and be like, that's nice. Actually take that and do it. And like we said, dude, we trying to hear those reports, man. Hit us up. thewaylovegoespod at gmail.com, because we want to hear it from y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Praise his name. We're glad to have done this today. We've completed successfully our first episode. Second time, but the first episode. And come back next week where we're going to give you some more dopeness. It's just going to be great. You're going to love it.
Yes.
All right. It's awkward, but
and it won't
be. Bye. We'll talk to you later. Okay.
Did you want to promote your shirts?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Look at the camera. See, we got these cool shirts. It's called God Vibes. If you want to get those, that's on my website, dondeeztees.com. That's DONDEEZTEEZ.com. Get your merch,
they're only short sleeves, right?
What's that?
They're just short sleeves right now, right?
Yeah. You can get this right now.
Is it just short sleeve or long sleeve?
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear that part. Right now, we got the short sleeves, and then in a couple of weeks, we about to have some cool new things. You feel me? So it's coming up, my people. But get your t-shirts, man. Get these God vibes on you. Yeah. Have these good conversations. And what's up? You got merch? What's up?
No, I have on your shirt. I'm repping your shirt, but I just want to let you know that if you see me, it looks like I have on a long sleeve shirt, but I just have the shirt on top of my long sleeve shirt. That's why I was like, that's why I was like, is this?
This is what they look like. This is a short version.
Right. Because it looks like I have on a long sleeve shirt. That's why I was like, is this a long sleeve?
Maybe we need to get some long sleeves. It's getting cooler.
Yeah,
it's getting cooler.
It looks like long sleeves, but this is a black shirt on top of a black shirt. So yeah.
Facts. Word.
But it looks cute. So yeah, if it was long sleeve,
so you can accessorize. Y'all can make it look real good. You feel me?
Yeah.
And when we get some with the Way Love Goes t-shirts, y'all rock them joints too.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So blessings. We will see y'all in the next episode. Remember, these are the things that you need in your life, because this is the way love goes. You see what we did there? All right. We'll see you next week. Be blessed, my people.
Bye.